Make sure that we're perfect. This way we don't have what happened last week and not have the recording after the fact. All right, let me do this. I'm going to share my screen and we are going to get rocking and rolling. If you guys have your cameras on, I'd love seeing faces on these calls. It's always more fun to be able to see. I know we're virtual, we're not in person, but I have a big enough screen in my office where I can actually see every single one of you guys. So if you have the camera, you have a capability of turning the camera on, I love seeing your face. It just makes it feel like we're more in person than we are virtual, especially when we're presenting. So real quick, my name's Sean Siberio. I'm an M2 here at OlyLife. I'm here with Team Prime. My fiance Carrie and I have been in this business now going back to since about August of last year. We actually got introduced to the machine a little bit before that, but we finally jumped in on the business side a couple weeks later. It was right around that first part of August of last year. Tonight, I'm going to share with you guys a little bit of the story of why we jumped in. I'm going to share a little bit more on this company and really why this is the best time right now to take advantage of what OlyLife has. And I'm gonna really kind of let you guys see deeper behind the scenes, not just OlyLife itself, but from a business standpoint, from an opportunity that is in front of us. Okay. So I'm going to share more from like a story standpoint. And I want to start off tonight by first congratulating you guys on being here. I forget how many there was when I shared my screen. I lost my other little controls, but we were creeping into about the 70-ish range. And it's always a blessing when people give up a little bit of time to, join a call like this. We all live busy lives. We all have a lot going on. And I always love to kind of start off by saying, the fact that you guys did that, you show up here tonight, you jump on this Zoom, you committed to it, that already shows a big difference between you guys and a lot of other people out there. We see it every single day. I see it in a lot of my different businesses that I'm part of. And I bet if I asked each and every one of you guys, you can name people in your life or around you, colleagues, friends, whatever the case. I call them the talkers, the ones that say someday, one day, hopefully soon, wish I could. Oh, that would be nice, right? They always have the excuse, but they never seem to put the effort or the focus into making something happen. And I always love when I get the opportunity to speak to an audience of go-getters like you guys. So enough about that piece. I want to get into the meat and potatoes and what really matters tonight, what you guys really came here for. But to do that, I want to take you guys back to a young 21-year-old Sean. I'll give you some perspective into what is that. How long ago was that? I'm currently 43. So I'm going to take you guys back a handful of years here, right? To a young 21-year-old Sean who just left Baghdad International Airport in Baghdad, Iraq. This was in about 2004, midway through 2004. You guys remember what was going on during that time frame? The United States was heavily involved in a conflict in the Middle East. I had just barely turned 21 years old, the day that I stepped foot into combat for the very first time. I'd only been in country 3 days. And in a blink of an eye, what was going on in my life suddenly looked like this right here. This was me. Now, this photo is obviously not from that day. This is an AI-generated photo. But this is exactly what happened to me. Out of the blue, some standard operating procedures that we had in place failed. And I found myself flying through the air, being launched out of the top of a Humvee because the vehicle in front of me hit a roadside bomb. When I landed square on my back. I instantly felt just an electrical shock through my lower half of my body. I thought I was paralyzed. That was the day that my life changed. I went on to serve multiple combat tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. I ended up putting in a total of 10 years. I was an explosives ordnance expert. I dealt with explosives very, very closely. By the time I actually got out of the Marine Corps in 2011, the injuries from that day and the injuries that I sustained as I continued my service just became another piece of life to me. And what I mean by that is I woke up every day since 2004 not wondering if I would be in pain, but how much pain. How much pain was I going to have to deal with? And this had been my life since 2004 up until about July of last year, 2025. I just got done serving at our church here in Las Vegas. I serve on the security team. My fiance, Carrie, she had looked at me and that as we were leaving church that day, and she said, hey, a friend of ours, he's actually here on this call tonight, Brother Wayne. She said, hey, Wayne called and said to come over his house. Now, in my mind, we were going to his house for a whole other reason. He wanted us to come because he wanted us to try the machine. She said, he's got this new machine. He wants us to give it a shot, whatever the case. It's supposed to help with pain, is all he could kind of say at that point. For somebody who lived in pain every single day, I pretty much was willing to try anything if it could help with pain relief. I had tried all kind of stuff over the years. I'm the type of person, and some of you guys on this call probably are a lot like me. I was the type of person that I didn't like taking pain pills. I didn't like pumping myself full of just a bunch of medication that masked it. So I just suffered. And I did the other things: acupuncture, massage, traction, a lot of physical therapy, learned how to do certain workouts in the gym that could help relieve the pain. So I was willing to go that day. And I remember sitting on the P90 for the very first time. And after 30 minutes of being on that machine, I remember looking at Carrie and Wayne and telling them that this is the most relief that I've felt in as long as I can remember. That even the acupuncture and all the other stuff that I used to do never brought me that type of relief that I felt that day. Carrie and I eventually left his house. He didn't really tell us too much else about the machine or the business because it was that new. We went on to a vacation, and fast forward a couple weeks, I noticed that after not using it from that one time, after a few weeks, I started noticing more issues. So we got Wayne to come over to the house, and I got to use the machine again. And it was that day that we decided to really go all in on what was being presented to us. And I remember from that day forward, I kept that P90 Plus here at the house, and consistently for 2 weeks, I would use it every single day, twice a day. And I remember one day, Carrie looked at me and she said, you're not complaining when we go to sleep anymore. You're not begging for me to just sit on your back. You wake up in the morning, you jump right out of bed and you get moving. For me, in my mind, it was the thing that I used to help mitigate the pain. I wasn't recognizing some of the other benefits that it was bringing. So I start with that discussion, or I start with that story, because for me, that is where the passion comes from. When people like Jason and Precious and some of our other leaders ask me to do these calls, because for me, my life changed, not just from a financial standpoint, not just from a physical standpoint, with the machine. My life changed in the sense that I finally had something that I could actually stand on, and I can actually talk to my fellow brothers and sisters that I served with. I've noticed a ton of different benefits from using the machine since we started back in August. Mentally, physically, emotionally. So my passion and what I'm about to talk about tonight stems directly from that random day when somebody who I really didn't know very well at that time at all offered us to try something. And the moral of that whole story is just how quick a simple moment in time can really change the trajectory or change the outcome for people. And that is something that I've become incredibly passionate about here with our business, with OlyLife, and the impact that we've been able to have on so many different people since August. And it stems from this. There's two things that we don't really talk a lot about as a society. I know there's some people on here from different countries. I'm going to mainly speak from a United States standpoint tonight, because that is the bulk of what our focus here. That's the bulk of the people that's on here. And these two are like taboo topics in the United States: health and wealth. We don't talk about it a lot. We don't get trained on it a lot. We don't get educated in this area a lot. It's like all of us growing up, right? We've had different experiences, but none of us have really been taught about health and wealth. And it's really the two things that I say that we never were prepared for, but it's the two biggest problems that exist in the United States, in our society, today. My favorite line on this slide is, most people have one, few people have both, down here at the bottom. Right? I can name people like crazy right now that are very healthy, but they have no money. I can name a lot of people that I'm associated with, that I'm in rooms with all the time, that have a lot of money, but they have no health. They're in pain. They're sucking down pain pills. They're overweight, all this different stuff. The two biggest problems that we all deal with. And here's what's interesting. In the United States alone, annual spend on healthcare is around $4.5 trillion. Multi-trillion-dollar industry in the healthcare space. Yet, at the same time, 77% of Americans are suffering from chronic illnesses, chronic stress, chronic disease. 6 out of every 10 people. When I did the research and I found some of these stats, that number right there really hit me. That 6 out of every 10 people I know have some kind of a chronic condition or on some kind of medication. Like, just think about that, folks. So many people that are around us every day fall into these buckets. Some of us on this call were part of these stats. It's what we're up against. The other side of that, the wealth side, what we get taught is go get another job, work harder, put in more hours. People don't need another job. What people need today, in my opinion, is they need leverage. They need to understand the power of leverage. They need to learn how to build leverage in to their financial side. And if you really stop for a second and think about the word leverage, now I'll be 100% honest with you guys. I barely passed.
Your microphone is muted.
I don't know who's muting me. It just asked me to unmute. I was saying, I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. I barely passed high school. I was the type of kid that did just enough to get my diploma and get the heck out of there. So I didn't do very well in science class. But one thing I do remember about in science class is the word leverage. The word leverage really means that if you apply a small amount of force with leverage, we can get a much larger result off of that, right? As a person that works with his hands and owns horses and all this stuff, I've understood this. You know, how does Sean, 220 pounds, move a 1,200-pound animal? Well, it's not brute force, it's leverage, right? But leverage also falls into the financial side of our business when we understand it. And I've noticed this consistently over my career. I started off a little bit tonight saying that OlyLife isn't the only thing that I do. I've been a serial entrepreneur since 2011 when I got out of the Marine Corps. I left the Marine Corps. I never wanted to work for another soul again. Since 2011 to this day, I have built businesses, worked for myself, figured out how to be an entrepreneur, how to generate my own and control my own destiny. And I've seen it constantly over those years that when I don't focus on the leverage side and I work harder, sure, the money grows, but what falls? Time, freedom, life, all the other things that I think most of us on this call also would like to have a little bit of, of that in our life. And if I'm going to be honest tonight, I'm also going to ask that you guys are a little honest. Because when we look at income, there's 3 major buckets. We are very good at one of these, that being the earned income, trading time for money. We've been taught to have portfolio income or some kind of an investment income, right? The problem with that and why so many don't have it is they don't have the money to invest. They don't have the money to stash away in investments to generate that. But the leveraged income is something that every single one of us, when we understand how to use a system, use a business from a leverage standpoint to really excel, we can all tap into it. So the thing that I'm going to ask you guys to be honest about with yourself right now is what percentage of your current income truly comes from a leveraged focus. You don't have to share this out loud. I don't want you to put this in the chat. I want you to let this sink into your own thoughts right now. Keep it to yourself. But if the major portion of your income is not coming from the leverage side, we're always going to be stuck in the rat race. And this is something that I'll be the first one to say. I'm not perfect. I'm not there yet. I'm striving to get there every single day to where the majority of income is coming from leverage. But every day we're moving that needle. Every day we're building the business to be able to allow it to sustain itself, right? That should be the focus. Or that's my wish, really, is that that was the way that everybody focused so that we can all enjoy life. And my slides don't want to move next. Now, at the same time, I'm going to pull us up about 30,000 feet. Tonight's not about just talking about OlyLife and talking about what's going on here with this business. But if we zoomed out for a second and really focus this conversation across the three big, like major movers in our day and age today, the first one is the wellness industry. If we look at just the wellness industry as a whole, we're already talking about a multi-trillion-dollar industry. It's like $4.7 or $4.8 trillion as of right now. When we look at stuff like longevity, weight loss, weight management, it's already a multi-billion-dollar, creeping in on the trillion-dollar mark. And then, unless you've been sleeping under a rock and hiding, I think you've seen a thing or two about AI. Folks, AI is here to stay. It's been around for quite some time. The data already shows that the AI industry is already into the trillions. In the next 5 to 10 years, it's already going to be close to about a $6 trillion market. AI today is the social media boom of about 2012, 2013. The Facebook boom, when Facebook suddenly became not just for college students and everybody can have it. Think about that. We're talking barely over 10 years ago. Something became more mainstream. That is what AI, that is what wellness, that is what the longevity side is really at today. These three combined is where the opportunity really sits. And when we look at OlyLife, OlyLife is dead smack in the center of leveraging all three of these. Now, if we look at it from a timeline standpoint, take a look at this timeline for a second. And I want you guys to think about if any of these even remotely ring a bell and look familiar to you. Apple, Amazon, Tesla, Bitcoin. The one that hit me when I was looking at it, Bitcoin. I remember an opportunity to buy Bitcoin when it was 25 cents. The person that shared that with me at that time, I thought they were crazy. I thought they were smoking something. I thought they took some like crazy pill. I thought they were speaking some weird thing. I ignored it. Look at Bitcoin today. All right? Look at AI. AI comes to the scene and look at how fast it's been exploding. The wellness tech industry is that thing on the timeline right now. We can all look back at some of these other ones. Apple with the bringing of the iPhone, right? Amazon and what it came. We can all look at this right now, and I guarantee you if I asked every one of you guys whether you agree or disagree, I'd get all agrees on this. In hindsight, we can look back right now and say, man, that was smart if people jumped in on that. Why? Because we're on this end of it. We've seen what it turned into. The wellness tech industry is that today. It's the industry. It is the thing that in years from now, people are going to look back and be like, man, the people that got involved in the wellness tech space, man, they were smart. Man, they were at the right time. That's where we're at on a timeline today. So why is it that we got excited? When I say we, I'm talking about Carrie and myself, Wayne, the one that brought this to us. Like, why did we get excited about this? For me, it was the business side of it started to make more sense. And I'll be honest, initially I looked at this and I said, I fell in love with the product. I fell in love with the technology. I loved what it was doing for me. And I was all in on that part of it. But the more and more that I pushed back on the business side, the more and more that I challenged, is this really something that can sustain? The more and more I dug into the data around it, the more I kept coming back to, this is a great opportunity. And when OlyLife is sitting right now at 150 different countries that we're able to ship to, like I don't know too many businesses that I was actually talking to a friend that is in a different MLM right now. I was talking to them about this opportunity, and they're excited that their company has finally opened up their 9th country. And this company's been around like 35 years. And that's the thing that they're excited about, is we just opened a 9th country. Yet I was looking at OlyLife and we're at 150 different countries right now. Like you can step into a business today and be global. Daily payouts was the one. I remember when we were sitting at the table going over this, and Carrie was like, "Wait a minute, Carrie's done." She asked me not to put her on camera tonight. I was going to ask her to share on this, but she's been doing some things prepping for our wedding next week, and she's not presentable at the moment, so she asked not to. But I remember her sitting on the other side of the table, hearing this and going, "Wait, we can get paid daily?" Like she'd done other MLMs and knows the struggle of what the other MLMs were like. If you got paid, when you could get paid, hitting certain metrics to be able to get paid. She's like, wait, daily payouts? Her ears perked. The AI focus. I remember hearing that the company was going to focus more on AI products. And then we saw the Shake and Massager come out back in November and the AI capabilities of it. You know, no monthly auto ship was the one. This is the one that this is why I always turn down. I never have done an MLM in my life. I've been very successful in every other business that I've done, but I never once wanted to touch an MLM because why? I had to keep paying for something every single month and making sure, and I had to keep getting people to pay for something every single month. I always walked away from them. And I remember hearing the no monthly auto ship, and it was like, whoa, wait a minute, you got my attention now. To me, this doesn't feel like an MLM. This feels like just direct sales. I've been in sales my whole life. It's just the next piece on here, the 6 ways to get paid, was the other part that piqued my interest. Wait, I can sell some. I'm so used to selling something and only getting paid one time, not selling something and then having 6 different ways that could suddenly start to create income from me. Talk about leverage, folks. Right? Doing something today that suddenly turns into multiple streams of income coming in because of the activities of today without me needing to do much more. And then I looked at the consistency of OlyLife. And to think when we got started, they weren't even at 3 years in business yet. And the amount of people globally that they'd already made, well over 500. We've already had our first millionaire be created here in the United States in just the first 12 to 14 months that they were involved in it. We've got others that are part of this team that are going to be creeping into that very soon. These were the things that really started to get us excited, because opportunities like this are things that we typically would look back and wish we knew about it when it was happening. Yeah, here we were finally. And I remember us saying this like crazy at the start of it. It's finally great to be in the front lines of something and not being part of something that has been around forever. And we wish that we could have been part of it when it first started. So I have somebody on the call tonight that I really want to share. His name's Jake. I don't see him on. There's so many of you guys, you don't all fit on just one screen. So Jake, if you are on still, if you could unmute and just say something so your little box will move up closer to where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm on. Can you hear me?
There you are. Now I see you. Thank you.
Okay, perfect.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Jake. You're in Salt Lake. Is that correct?
I'm in Utah. I'm in Lehigh.
Lehigh. Okay. Close to the Salt Lake area, I think.
Yeah, it's close.
I remember Utah part of it, but for some reason I was thinking Salt Lake on the top of my head. If you could, Jake, take a little bit of just a few minutes here, and I'm actually going to de-share my screen. I don't know if you're able to turn your camera on.
Yeah, my laptop doesn't allow me to. Well, I mean, I don't have a camera on this laptop.
Okay,
I
no
could
worries.
turn my camera on my phone, but the mic is terrible.
No worries. I'm going to do that so that this way when you talk, it'll actually just kind of, I'm going to de-spotlight me so that you come up there. There we go. If you could just take a few minutes here and just share with everybody a little bit about, I know you're newer here to OlyLife. Yeah. If you could take a few minutes and just kind of share briefly what it was about OlyLife, either from, product standpoint, business standpoint, like what was it that really got you excited?
Yeah, so real quick, Sean, I just want to say thank you for your service. That was an awesome story you have there. I feel like my story is kind of similar with, just going through pain, but I just want to start where I was about 5 years ago. So I've always been an athlete. I've always, just have been in pretty good shape. And so, I just kind of just ate whatever I wanted. And that's when the problem started happening. I found out that, I had diabetes because I was running around the track and my freaking big toe went numb. At the time, I was boxing and I was on the ring. I was trying to do all these stretches and I was trying to figure out why is my toe numb? And so before this, I didn't know I had diabetes, by the way. I went in and got checked, and that's when I found out, oh, I have an AC1. My A1C was 11.9, so terrible. When I found that out, I'm like, okay, this is pretty bad. I thought, okay, maybe if I start eating a little bit better, this would just eventually go away. No, it went down my all my right leg into my toes, and eventually went into my left leg into my toes. And then I started developing depression, super stress, low energy, and I started getting a lot of weight. At that time, I remember sitting up in my bed because the pain was so bad that I thought to myself, you know what? I have a burner right in the corner. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's a gun. I just thought to myself, you know what? I could just end this right now because that's how bad the pain was. Like it was terrible. But I told myself, all right, I'm not a little biznatch, so I just got to figure out what to do. I know my eating's not right. I really got to check my calories, got to go through this process, right? Try to get my health right. But I too, I don't like pills. I don't like going through, being the guinea pig at the doctor's office because a sick patient, a healthy patient, a doctor can't make money off of. And so I didn't want to be that person to help them do that. But I do believe in surgeries and stuff like that. Anyway, I went down this whole process. I got connected with one of my buddies. His name is Darren Fryer. You guys might know him, but he got me involved with this Kangen machine. And what it is just this water machine that helps the body. And I won't get into that, but all this other stuff, it takes time. It takes time to heal the body. And it's funny because that thing was working a little bit for me. Long story short, Darren, he hits me up after a couple years and he's like, "Hey man, I'm involved in something else and there's a little get together. You should go try out this machine. If you know anybody that has any chronic illnesses, it could really help with that." And I'm like, "Okay, what do you mean?" So Darren never knew I had neuropathy, by the way. And I asked him like, so like neuropathy kind of pain? He's like, "Oh yeah, definitely. Like people that have neuropathy, this would work perfect for them." Okay. I'm like, "Okay." I didn't want to tell him I had neuropathy because I didn't want him to speak, those sweet words into my ear. I just wanted to see if this would work for myself. This was literally last week, by the way. So I went to this event. I hopped on the machine, 20 minutes. I was able to feel my toes. The heat that went up into my legs, I felt for the first time. It's been so long, and I was able to feel the grass for the first time in 5 years, just on my toes. I mean, my toes are still a little numb, but I could not believe that I was able to feel something on my toes. It's been so long. So when you take for granted these things that, you could do naturally, when they get taken away from you, like running and walking and stuff like that, especially when you have neuropathy, you feel like your life is gone. And, I'm at the time I was 29, now I'm 34, but man, it was amazing because I just had my second session with Jason the other day, and there was two other things that I had that I looked past. I had drop foot. If you guys know what drop foot is, it's like the nerves in your ankles don't work, so you can't lift up your ankle. And then I had varicose veins. Both of those things, I noticed after the first session, I was able to lift up my ankle. And then after the second session, I noticed my varicose veins are almost gone. I actually have a picture. I don't know if I could show my screen. Can I share my screen real quick, Sean? Is that something I do?
Oop, I was muted there. If you're able to hit the share button.
Let me see. Looks like I have to send a request. Did you get that, or whoever's the host?
Oh, I'm not full host, so I think.
Oh, okay, well we'll skip that. Maybe you guys could check that out in like the testimonial like area or whatever. But yeah, my varicose vein, my drop foot that I've had for years, all of a sudden started like going away. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, that's my story, guys. And then the cherry on top, I can't believe that we can have a stake in the global shares in this business. The daily payouts are big for me as well. I've been around a couple MLMs and there's nothing like that where you get paid from the people above you that might be putting in the work. So it's pretty exciting. I'm really new. Obviously, this is my second week, guys, but it was just a healing factor for me, like straight up. So anyway, I appreciate letting me share my story, Sean.
No, it's amazing, dude. Amazing story. Awesome to hear that you're able to get on the machine again. Hopefully yours is coming in soon. So that you can keep focusing on that. But what I love about Jake's story is, number one, I've seen this and we've heard this since we got started. Just people, and this is kind of what I started off tonight saying, is that finally an opportunity to really help people in the two major areas that we quite frankly just don't get enough support and training around, and that's the health and wealth side of our life. And I guarantee if we had time for a bunch of people to share, we'd hear a lot of stories like Jake's, because it has been the thing, and it's something that really lights me up on a daily basis when we get to hear stories like this. So to kind of get ready to wrap us down here a little bit, because I promised you guys I wouldn't run forever on this. I wanted to keep it high and tight. The business model here is so simple that we can actually scale it down to these three things. And that is, number one, becoming a customer, getting the product for yourself. I can't tell you guys how many people, the bulk of business is being built just because the product is theirs. They're using it every day. They're loving it. It becomes one of the easiest things in the world to talk about. And it's something that I've really fallen in love with. There's not a bunch of complicated marketing and that kind of stuff. It's just using the machine and getting people to hear what it's doing for you. From there, it's moving into the sharer category, right? Telling your story, just like Jake shared his and I've shared mine. And then there's the builder division, right? Building that team. And this is where the leverage really starts to come in, when you start to build some powerhouses underneath you that also have the machines that are doing the dailies with their own selves, and really starting to understand that we don't have to do this all alone. Unlike a lot of other MLMs, this is one where it really is the strength of it comes around the team. And I know the ones that, Carrie and myself that we work with every day that are part of our team here that we've been building, it's something that we love, is just absolutely supporting and helping each other, because together we can grow a whole lot faster than trying to do it by ourselves. And that's why I always say that today, right now, where things sit, the products that we have, the products that OlyLife has already developed, and the products that, at their core, they are a research and development company. So kind of like Apple keeps coming out with new and improved things, OlyLife kind of feels like the Apple of the wellness world, where they're just constantly developing, constantly looking at what makes sense. So between our products and what is coming and what we already have, and the timing of where we're at in today's day and age, I can't tell you guys how many people are looking for this type of modality. Alternative things, not being stuck to the pills and the shots and the medication. People are looking for this. So when you have product and when you have the right products in the right timing, it's almost like momentum just happens. And that is the excitement that we have with this business opportunity in front of us. So I always look at it like this. This call is coming to an end. And really, there's three people that are going to leave this call. There's what I call the spectators. They're the ones that, kind of like I was with Bitcoin, that was like, interesting, kind of weird, not sure if I believe it. And I sat on the sideline, right? There's the amplifier. The amplifier in my mind is the person that loves what they just heard, the kind of hearing some things that are getting their mind going, but they still have, some questions. They still maybe don't have all the answers. They got some results when they use the machine. So they're talking a little bit about it. That's probably the bulk of people. But I guarantee you there's a bunch of you guys right now that fall into this architect category. The architect is the person that is the one that gets it, sees it, understands the bigger vision, and really wants to build. The cool thing is it doesn't matter which bucket you fall into. There is no wrong answer here. All there is the legacy that's left behind. Each one of these decisions, each one of these buckets leads to your legacy. For those of you guys that fall into that amplifier and architect category, you're either fired up, you're ready to go, you want to get running with this and get things happening, or you maybe fall on the amplifier side. You're kind of there, you got some questions. I'm going to encourage you to get with the person that invited you to this call. Get with the person that has brought this opportunity to you. And here's why. Here's why I say that. They know you better than anybody. Why? Because they've met with you. They've talked to you. Maybe you've had a chance to get on a machine with them. They could be a friend, a family member, whatever the case. They know you the best. They're the best one to actually help you figure out what the next best move is for you guys. And I'm just going to leave it with this. Whatever you decide to do, make it your decision. Not because it was pressured, not because it was felt force, not because you had the FOMO, the fear of missing out. Make it your choice, because when you look back in 5 to 10 years from now, I want you to be happy with the decision that you made. As long as you can answer that with a just resounding yes, I made the decision that I wanted to make and I'm happy with it, you're in the right place. For those of you guys that are ready to rock and roll and run, I look forward to seeing you guys. I will be seeing you guys soon in the community, at events. For my team that's on here, you guys know if you need support, and for all the other leaders that are on here, you guys, if you fall under them, you know that they're there to support you. There's no shortage of support here, which is what I think is the best piece. Is nobody has to build. Nobody has to take this business and get moving alone. Together, we can achieve some really great things. So with that, I'm going to let you guys get back to your evening. Again, congratulate you guys on showing up, sticking around. Again, get with who invited you, get your questions answered, and we'll be seeing you guys here really soon on some future calls and future trainings. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you, Sean.